Man must go back to the land. Hard times are coming. Are you ready? My name is Mashida Shabazz, and I've been living in self-sufficient spiritual communities for the last 7 years, 2 of which I spent living with monks, learning meditation, and now I lead a spiritual warrior organization dedicated to serving, protecting, and leading the development of communities worldwide. And in today's video, I want to share with you the solution to most of your troubles and how you can navigate these hard times coming through building community. So much of our world's problems comes from our disconnection to nature, and in that process, our disconnection from God. Because when we're in nature, it's so much easier to recognize the presence of God. And when we recognize the presence of God in our lives, then we can recognize that we're all brothers and sisters of the same Father and Mother God. And this is what allows for true peace and understanding to come into the hearts of the people. And that's why I feel and see as my mission and my service to build communities, because I see that when we have self sufficiency, we have a true way to combat the modern system and the corruptedness of our systems today. And so, if we're dealing with corruption, especially at the level we have going on in the world today, there's really no point to try to fix it. We need to create something new, because the powers that be are in control of this system that they have going on, and no politician that will be able to change that. But what we can change is our dependence upon the system, because when we live in cities, our food is not grown in cities. Most of our things are not made in the cities, is brought to the cities. And so we are completely reliant when living in the cities upon the government for our needs, upon the infrastructure of the system for our needs. And so going back to land is not just a beautiful hippie or nature movement. It's also a very practical, down to earth solution to resolve the issues plaguing our society today by taking a step back from the system and creating our own society and nature where we can be self sufficient. And self sufficiency is the solution here, because when we have our own food, our own water, our own natural resources, and creating our own businesses in these communities, then we're really in a position that we don't need the government anymore. We don't need the modern system anymore. And when you don't need something, then that thing has no power over you. An important thing here is to recognize that we need to reclaim our power as the people by coming together in community, coming together in solidarity for this collective movement of awakening the world and bringing in a new civilization founded upon the higher age principles of living, like world brotherhood, of universal spirituality, of self-sufficiency and sustainability. And another important side to this that I think is really important to understand is that hard times are coming. We are living through biblical times right now. I know some people don't believe in this and that, but the truth is that hard times are coming, and whether you accept it or not does not change reality if it's coming. And it's not pessimistic, it's not negative, it's not doomsaying, it's recognizing karmic patterns in ourselves and in society, and that for us to create a new world, these karmic patterns have to be birthed and cleansed. And if you've ever done fasting, then I'm sure you may recognize that sometimes fasting is not easy. Sometimes fasting it can be quite painful or uncomfortable. However, the reward is great peace and great feelings of emptiness, of clarity. And so our world, our Mother Earth, is going through that same process of cleansing herself from these wrong vibrations of living in these systems. And so they will be destroyed by themselves at their own expense, at their own hand, their own doing. And it's important for us to already start building the foundations for these new systems, these new civilizations through community, so that when the hard times come, when the chaos comes, we already have places, we already have fortresses to retreat to and take shelter in. And so this is really a core aspect of what I'm doing. I really recognize this. I feel it coming, and I know that we need to build something. We need to, as a people, to create a new way of life for ourselves. And so the message I really want to bring to you today is that find ways to reconnect with the land more. Find ways to deepen your connection, whether that's going out on hikes more or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, but I most importantly encourage you to connect with like-minded souls and think about buying land. Think about self-sufficiency as the real cure to the issues that you're dealing with, because if you're dealing with poor health, it's because the food quality is not very good in the stores. So grill your own food. um, Cities create a lot of pollution, so the sunlight is not very good there. And so the solution is live more in nature, like here, where sunlight comes all the time, and we are good. We feel healthy. We're strong. We're vibrant. We're electric. We're healthy, and so much of our health issues can be solved by right living, living in nature. So much of our financial worries would be alleviated living in nature and creating businesses and communities, because there'll be less overhead expenses, because there is a common one in the community. You're able to find like-minded people to create businesses with. Secondly, you're in an environment where your expenses are naturally decreased, because in modern society, there is an emphasis on everyone needing to have individual ownership of everything. And so, like, let's say on a neighborhood, right? Every single person in the neighborhood must have their own weed whacker, their own lawnmower, their own this, that, right? But in the community, we can share some of those things. So we don't all need to have our own thing in that way. Of course, there are some exceptions that we'll have our own thing with, right? But generally speaking, our needs are decreased living in community, and that is why it helps us to stay more focused and stay more grounded in mission, and realize again that we need to go back to land. We need to prepare the way for a greater future by going back to our roots as humans and citizens of the earth. God in the Bible gave man dominion over the earth. That did not mean that we are here to abuse the earth, but we're here to shepherd and steward the earth, to increase the bounty of the fruits, to increase the bounty of nature. And we do that by living in harmony with nature. And the best way to live in harmony with nature is to go back to the land and experience it and change your way of life. And again, I say that this has been my mission, and this is what I'm continuing to do. And this is why I am looking and training spiritual warriors, people who are dedicated to being stewards of these communities, who are dedicated to protecting them, serving them, and leading the development of these communities. If this resonates with you, then check out the links in my bio for ways to support this mission, whether that's through donations or through interest in joining and becoming a spiritual warrior, or just you want to share about a community you have and you want to see how you can get in contact with our network. If this is something that interests you, then again, click the links in the bio. Thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment any insightful thoughts, because God knows we need communities to save this world. Peace be with you all.